GoPro Hero 13 Black is the most meaning evolution yet of arguably the world's most popular action camera. I'll show you what's new, and we'll even compare it to the iPhone's action mode. Before I get too deep, be sure you subscribe to the channel with those notifications turned on so you don't miss my latest video or Apple news. I've been using GoPros for ages. I remember my first scuba diving trip to the Keys and buying what I think was a GoPro Hero 2 at a local dive shop. Since then, I bought several new ones over the years, but a lot of the time the upgrades have felt minimal. It's just the rate of technology, and the new versions would have incremental changes, such as longer battery life or slightly higher frame rates. The biggest changes to me was when they ditched the housing for diving, added the retractable mounting fingers to the bottom, and adopted 4K. I say all of that because I do think that the new Hero 13 Black is one of those monumental upgrades. It now has multiple interchangeable lenses, magnetic charging, and a new quick mount system that, combined with some serious other changes, has me sold. Let's start with the design of the camera. It still obviously looks like a GoPro. That DNA runs deep. You have the front-facing display, which is useful for filming yourself, and a large touchscreen on the back. Power button is on the side, and the shutter button is on the top and does support that quick capture functionality, so you don't have to turn it on first. It's powered over USB-C, which is hidden behind the door, and that internal battery is now 1900 milliamp hours, up from 1720. This brings me to the first of the changes, magnetic charging. It's basically like Apple's MagSafe, but for a GoPro. You swap out the door on the side for one with contact sensors, then snap on the Contacto magnetic cable. It can power your camera over an external USB-C power source, whether it's a battery pack or a power supply, for an unlimited amount of time, and even works without the battery installed. I just love this. Long time lapses, cold environments, professional shoots, anything like that will benefit from this. The downside is that it isn't included, which I really hate. It's just a replacement door and a magnetic cable. Put it in the box. The next change is to the mounting options. On the bottom, you still have these fold-out fingers, which are very strong and still work with the OG mounts from like over a decade ago. Then there's the 1/4-inch thread that they've also built in now, which is in the middle, and it makes it easier to connect to like a tripod. I use this on a lot of my professional equipment. But what's new is this magnetic bit. Just place it on one of these new mounts and it just snaps into position. I set up several mounts on my son's Jeep here, and it made it simple to move the camera around to different positions. It's just fantastic. It works very well, and you just kind of pinch to release. It's bidirectional too, so you can flip the camera around. Let's talk about the next major change with this iteration. Tool-free replacement lenses with various different effects for different shots. So far, GoPro has a set of ND filters, an ultra-wide lens mod, a new macro lens mod, and an anamorphic lens. I didn't have the anamorphic lens, but I do have the others, and I've been testing them out, and there's some cool stuff here that GoPro's done. The most basic is the ND filters, which will help you get that super awesome motion blur. There have been ND filters before for the GoPro, but you kind of have to know what you're doing a little bit to get the most out of them. You typically put one on, shoot some footage, then adjust. I know videographers and photographers that still struggle with them. GoPro makes it just stupid easy. You twist off your standard lens and put on one of the ND lenses. Just guess which one you think is right based on the brightness. The camera will then automatically identify the filter you've applied and let you know in real time whether or not you should step up or step down. There's just a little arrow there. It even then automatically adjusts settings and frame rate for you to get the best shot. They take out so much of the guesswork to make your shot better and get you going faster. The auto detection works with all these new HB series lenses, so they make adjustments, add to metadata, and the like. For example, if you put on the new anamorphic lens for those super stylized ultra-wide shots, it will know that and then automatically de-squeeze the footage in camera. By the way, Hero 13 Black supports ultra-wide 21:9 aspect ratio for the first time, which, by the way, is also supported on Apple TV with tvOS 18. If you want to learn more about that and the other features in the update, check out that video I've linked here. I've also been intrigued by the macro lens. Not only can you get much closer than with the regular lens, 11 centimeters, which is 4 times closer than with the regular lens, but it has variable focus too. You can turn on in-camera focus peaking to see what is in focus, then dial it in as necessary. It creates some nice background bokeh too that you usually don't see on action cams. What has me so excited by these lenses is I feel like these cameras are even more capable for a wide range of use cases. Let's be real. Not everyone is flipping mountain biking off a cliff or skydiving or racing in NASCAR or even producing a TV show or movie. But this camera is still affordable enough that someone like me will consider it to get absolutely crazy footage of their kids, family, or less death-defying but still cool stuff. This camera can span that crazy set of scenarios, and these lenses, mounting, and power options enable that. That's not all though. There are more changes here that I want to talk about. Internally, this has been upgraded to Wi-Fi 6 from Wi-Fi 5. This makes the auto upload much faster so you can get that pre-done clip show from the Quick app really quickly. Obviously, I prefer something beyond Wi-Fi 6, but Wi-Fi 6E was only a minor improvement and Wi-Fi 7 is still kind of rolling out, so I understand the decision here. GPS is back, complete with these cool overlays that you can do in the app. It supports HLG HDR footage too for more control for the pros. On the software side, there was a notable number of changes. I don't want to drag on going over all of them, but 2 things that I liked. First, changing settings and presets. There's a new easy mode that just point and shoot, or put it into pro mode for full control over all the settings. Then you can name your presets now. You can make a whole list of presets that you use most frequently and give them custom names to make it very easy to move in between. Second, they've enabled this new burst slow-mo setting. It does 5.3K at 120 frames per second, 900p at 360 frames per second, or 720p at 400. They can only film for just maybe a few seconds, like 5 to 12 seconds at a time, but the footage is really cool. I just tossed my kid in the air in the pool and the water effects were amazing. There is some grain in the 720p footage, but a big drop from 5K to 720, so it's understandable. Using a GoPro has unique advantages over shooting with your iPhone. First, it's much more rugged, and no case is required. It also has much higher resolutions and frame rates available. iPhone 15 Pro can do 240 frames per second at 1080p, but GoPro Hero 13 Black can do that at 7.2K, or 400 at 720p as we discussed. GoPro can also shoot at a whopping 5.3K resolution. The Action Cam also has its Hyper Smooth 6 stabilization feature. iPhone does have action mode, but it's capped at 2.8K resolution. If you're shooting moving footage or have the camera mounted on something like a bike or a car, GoPro is clearly the better choice. Apple's action mode and other camera abilities, though, have progressed significantly over the years. iPhone's a great alternative that people can use already without any added purchases, but it can also be a great second angle when paired with the GoPro. The Hero 13 Black isn't the only option. There is a new Hero Cam out that strips out a few features for a cheaper price tag. If you're interested in the GoPro Hero 13 Black, learn more at the link below in the description. Otherwise, subscribe and follow for all the latest Apple news. I'll catch you in the next video.